Grant Paulson. Grant Paulson. You know, I was there that day. The day that the Grant Paulson debate happened on Revenge of the Sith, where he made all these promises for good criticism of the best Star Wars prequel. Grant Paulson. He was the only one we didn't get. Today is a wonderful day. Hell, today is a glorious day. Today is the day I get to bully Grant Paulson for having the shittiest review of Revenge of the Sith I have ever seen in my life. This person is responsible for all the hate Revenge of the Sith has ever received in its lifetime existing in our reality. He is the reason Plinkett reviews exist. He is the reason Sheev talks through criticism at this movie. He is the reason hatred for Revenge of the Sith is in our fabric of reality. This is the most powerful hater of a prequel movie I have ever seen in my life, and my greatest enemy, Grant Paulson! Grant Shitstain Paulson! Today, I'm going to be addressing Grant Paulson's Revenge of the Sith review on his Letterboxd back in 2021. Nowadays, he has changed his mind and his review of the film, but the utter fact that this motherfucker made this review in the first place is worthy of my wrath, Grant Homestander. With that being said, my friend SK has recorded himself reading out the script as the great Grant Paulson, so I can respond to it like it's a video. So, let's begin the torture. Grant.
Revenge of the... Oh my god, already. Revenge of the Sith 2005 is way worse than I remembered.
Fuck you!
I know I'm going to make a lot of enemies with this one.
Including your greatest enemy, Grant Pornstar.
Because I know a lot of people seem to think that this movie is a masterpiece, as well as one of, if not the best Star Wars movie.
It's a 10 until proven otherwise, bitch.
So if you adore this movie and think it's a masterpiece, I doubt this review is going to change your mind.
You're right, Grant. It doesn't change my mind. It doesn't change my mind because this review is full of hate. This review is full of EFAP. This review is full of Grant Paulson. That's why I don't agree with this review.
So you may not want to bother reading this review because it is going to be very critical of the film. To start off, this opening is desperately trying to play catch-up to show us Obi-Wan and Anakin being good friends.
First of all, that's not even true anyways, because they already established the friendship between Anakin and Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones. We get to see what they don't like about each other and their character flaws around each other. We get to see their banter and how they like making fun of each other in a way that's endearing to both characters, and we get an idea of how they operate on an adventure together, trying to stop Padme's assassin. So already with the first main act of the second movie, we already have a very clear understanding that these guys are friends and how they operate as friends. Yeah, sure, they don't depict the relationship as perfect buddies, oh, we love each other friendship and there's no problems, because there's moments of argumentation and disagreement between the two in the first part of the movie, but we still get an idea that they enjoy each other's company, they make each other laugh at occasion, and that they operate really well together. So already, don't even agree with that. And secondly, Revenge of the Sith isn't trying to play catch-up. The whole point of the invisible hand scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship is to show how their friendship has grown over the years. Firstly, it was a mentor-mentee relationship in Attack of the Clones, which was also a friendship, but now they are more closer than ever. They are brothers, they know how each other think, and they have a better understanding of each other as people.
Because the previous film only briefly hinted at great adventures between them that we don't see.
Oh, okay, so you didn't watch the first act of Attack of the Clones. That's good to hear, Grant Shitstain. Any other problems in the movies that you want to make up? You piece of shit?
And the rest of their relationship is more like a... And the rest of their relationship is more like an uncle/nephew relationship rather than a friendship.
What the fuck are you talking about? Uncle/nephew relationship? What in the world gave you that impression of the fucking characters in this movie? What the fuck, Grant Paulson?
Because Anakin whines about Obi-Wan behind his back, even though Obi-Wan is never shown to be holding Anakin back. In fact, we're shown the opposite. And Anakin doesn't even want to go save him from Geonosis, and it's only when Padme tells him she's going to help him that he... And it's only when Padme tells him she's going to help him that he goes along because he needs to protect her.
Looks like Mr. Grant Shitstain Paulson is having dementia again. He is now reviewing Star Wars Attack of the Clones for some reason. Why are you reviewing Attack of the Clones, Mr. Grant Shitstain Paulson? This is a review on Revenge of the Sith. Where's the Revenge of the Sith content? I don't see it anywhere right now. Because all I hear is you bitching and moaning about Attack of the Clones. Oh, but Anakin didn't want to save Obi-Wan, so they're not friends. Bitch, I don't give a shit about the writing inconsistencies of Attack of the Clones. We're here for the peak one, for Revenge of the Sith. And you're not reviewing it for some reason, Mr. Grant Shitstain Paulson.
Plus, the scene where he goes off on... Plus, there's the scene where he goes off one to... What? Plus, there's a scene where he goes off on one to Padme about Obi-Wan not being fair to him. This adds to the idea of Anakin talking shit about Obi-Wan behind his back.
I hope every single one of your friends talk massive shit behind your back, Grant. I hope every single one of them does it, and they plot to destroy you every single time they do that. I hope that the worst of the worst happens to you. Wanna know why? Number one, because you hate Revenge of the Sith, and I hate you for that. And number two, because you are still reviewing Attack of the Clones!
Their friendship that was described in the OT is just not what their relationship is in these movies. And this opening is desperately trying to make up for that.
This criticism baffles me. I have no idea why people think this is good at all for criticism against even any of the fucking prequels. What is the relationship established in the OT? Obi-Wan says, and he's a good friend. Okay. It's like, that literally doesn't mean much. You can do almost anything with that. And to put this as simply as possible, overall, ignoring the bad stuff that Anakin proceeds to do, which Obi-Wan is obviously ignoring when he's talking positively about him in A New Hope anyways, Anakin is overall a good friend to Obi-Wan. They have good banter, they make each other laugh in Attack of the Clones, and in Revenge of the Sith, they have a deep connection and understanding towards each other to the point where they consider each other brothers. How is that not a good friend? I don't need the entire movie to be them bantering and joking and going, ah, you're my best friend, da 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 da, for me to understand that they're fucking friends, Grant. It's really simple. They enjoy each other's company, they have a fun dynamic and banter towards each other, and they understand each other like how brothers would understand each other. Sounds like a pretty fucking good friend to me. Alright, and after all that's said and done, Mr. Grant Paulson, may we please go back to reviewing Revenge of the Sith instead of Attack of the Clones? You know, the movie you're actually supposed to be fucking reviewing, you shit stain.
Plus, there are some things to come later in this film that hinders the idea of him being a good friend to Obi-Wan. This great, amazing Anakin that we were told about in the OT is just never present in these movies.
This great, amazing Anakin, he's Darth Vader! In the OT, he blew up Alderaan! He's okay with torture and murder! Obviously, Obi-Wan isn't being fully truthful, even if you only look at it in the OT! What is wrong with you, bro? He's a fucking fascist! He's literally Space Hitler! And you're like, this amazing version of Anakin we never saw. It's almost like he never fucking existed. It's almost like he's the bad guy in the end of the day, bro.
Anakin and Obi-Wan have insane plot armor in this opening.
This review has insane plot armor for not being shit on years ago! Grant?
They fly directly into a huge battalion of droid ships, and none of them are able to hit or destroy their Jedi fighters.
They literally show in the movie that the clone troopers in their starfighters are distracting most of the droid battleships to make sure that the starfighters that the Jedi are flying do not get commonly attacked. And even then, Obi-Wan gets hit by buzz droids and almost dies.
And the elevator full of droids don't execute Obi-Wan and Anakin with their blasters immediately for some reason, as soon as they enter the elevator.
You are a shit stain, Grant. The biggest shit stain, I might add. How did you not consider, throughout your entire time with your greasy little fingers, typing out this greasy little review, did you never consider, hey, maybe Darth Sidious ordered the droids and Grievous not to kill Anakin or Obi-Wan because he wants to test them against Count Dooku? How did you not consider that? The droids literally say, hands up, Jedi. Like they're gonna arrest them. Like they're gonna capture them, Grant. Are you stupid? No, I take that back. I don't think you're stupid, Grant. I think you're malicious. I think you're evil. I think you are a master planner because you created the most bad faith review of the greatest Star Wars thing to ever exist. And you did it to convert history to your will. You're actually not stupid. You're brilliant, Grant. You're a genius. But more importantly, you're a fucking shit stain.
And the droids luckily just open the door right as Anakin is dangling from that floor, and they don't shoot and kill him for some reason.
The droid opened the door to try and arrest/capture Anakin to bring him to Palpatine for the master plan of testing him against Count Dooku. And 2, you are a fat piece of shit, Grant. Once again, the droid says, hands up, Jedi. It clearly wants to capture him. How do you not realize this? Mr. Paulson? Homestander? Just standing there, Lander?
Also, in their fight with Dooku, he kicks Anakin away and is holding Obi-Wan in the air with the Force, and for some reason doesn't slash at Obi-Wan and cut him in half with his lightsaber once he pushes him away.
I have 2 things to say about that, Grant. Number 1, you have an oval head. Your head is shaped like an oval. Your head is not a circle. Everyone would agree that shit's a fucking oval. Number 2, the reason why Count Dooku didn't slash him with his lightsaber is because he made a split-second decision to throw him with the Force. And the reason he did that is because it gives Obi-Wan less of a chance to retaliate than to lift his lightsaber and to either thrust for a stab or do a wide sweeping slash to cut him in half like you asked him to do. It is much faster to flick your wrist and throw him. Oval head.
And he doesn't do the same to Anakin for some reason.
Anakin is more powerful in the Force than Obi-Wan, so Count Dooku clearly just can't do that. And even if he could, there's common sense in play. If you try and grab someone with the Force, and they have the Force as well, they'll retaliate the same. They'll either grab you, or they'll Force push you to make you let go, so it won't get you anywhere. That's why Dooku had to do it in the right occasions with Obi-Wan, when he's off-guarded, and he had enough time to throw him without Obi-Wan reacting in time to retaliate. Which is why he threw him instead of meticulously got his lightsaber out and tried to stab him or so. This is just common sense, Grant. Do you not know how to flick your wrist? Do you not know how to raise your hand out? That's all it takes to counter someone grabbing you with the Force if you're also a Force wielder. How can your oval head not comprehend that?
Also, the floor that collapsed on top of Obi-Wan's legs somehow doesn't completely paralyze him and destroy the entire lower half of his body.
This criticism has brought nothing but pain, stupidity, incompetence, and misinformation for years and years on end. And it's all Grant Paulson's fault. This is a very simple answer, and an answer most normal people and real Star Wars fans can easily accept. But for some reason, there's a small section of people that are so stupid, so entitled, and so slow-brained, or oval-headed in this case, that they don't understand the concept concept that the Jedi have super durability, that the Jedi consistently can handle / withstand damage and or injury that is greater than the normal human body, that they can react faster than the human body can ever move, they can withstand damage far heavier than the human body can withstand, and that they have shown nothing but impeccable agility, speed, skill, comprehension, strength, and endurance throughout the entirety of the history of Star Wars. But for some reason, some people out there do not accept that the Jedi have super durability. Yeah, the same characters that can survive a hit from a Wampa, which is basically a polar bear, falling down a shaft in Cloud City, surviving an explosion near point blank range. Apparently, these characters totally don't have super durability. Am I right? Fuck you.
Also, for some reason, Anakin isn't suspicious of Palpatine at all when he tells him to leave Obi-Wan to die. Palps literally could have just not said anything.
I find it odd that women don't find it suspicious that your head is shaped like an oval instead of a proper circle like most people, Grant Paulson, but you don't see me complaining about stupid shit like this.
Then Grievous is introduced and he says, just as Count Dooku predicted, meaning that Dooku made this plan with Palpatine to stage the kidnapping, and Dooku planned this with Grievous without telling him that Palpatine is the Emperor, and that they are simply staging a kidnapping. So Palpatine is really lucky that Grievous didn't just execute him right then and there so he could win the war.
Are you seriously so incompetent that you never thought, hey, if Count Dooku clearly has a plan that Grievous has to follow, maybe the plan requires Emperor Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, Darth Sidious to not be executed by Grievous? Did you never think of that? You never went, maybe this criticism isn't fair, because it's pretty common sense to go, if Count Dooku and Darth Sidious have a plan to capture Darth Sidious, but Grievous doesn't know it's Darth Sidious, maybe they'd fucking tell Grievous, hey, don't kill Palpatine, he's part of the plan. You're a fucking shit stain, Grant Paulson. A fucking shit stain. And because of this, you have now convinced me that The White House is a 2 out of 10. Shit movie. Why? Because the shit stain likes it. Fuck you, Grant.
And he didn't know about Palpatine's plan to have Anakin kill Dooku if he really... And he didn't know about Palpatine's plan to have Anakin kill Dooku if he won their fight, meaning he thought this kidnap was for real. Also, what if Dooku just spilled the beans on Palpatine right there? Also, what if Dooku just spilled the beans on Palpatine right then and there, once he found out he was betrayed? And what if Anakin just didn't kill Dooku and this actually decided to do the right... And what if Anakin didn't just kill Dooku and actually decided to do the right thing and ignore Palpatine?
Okay, first of all, why the fuck would Anakin believe Count Dooku if he spilled the beans? Count Dooku's a known liar. He's literally lied before. He's lied several times, Grant. And 2, if Anakin just decided to do the right thing and not kill Count Dooku, all that means is that Palpatine knows that Anakin isn't worthy to be a Sith, and that's it. It literally wouldn't affect anything. Count Dooku can't expose him, doesn't have any proof, and no one's gonna believe this guy when he's lied several times. So what exactly is the issue? Palpatine gets his answer. Oh, he's not worthy. He's too much of a pussy to kill the Sith Lord Count Dooku. Okay, I guess I'll either keep Dooku or look for someone else. Or I'll have to convert him some more. That doesn't really hinder anything. At most, it's a minor inconvenience, and an unlikely one too, because Palpatine intimately knows Anakin as a person ever since he was a child, so it's more likely than not that he would kill Count Dooku, the guy who cut off his fucking hand. We even see later, after the fight, that Palpatine is aware that Anakin slaughtered women and children Tusken Riders because he was upset about his mother dying. If he can be so personally mad at someone to maliciously murder the innocents involving of the act, it makes perfect sense that logically, and more likely than not, Anakin would kill the guy who made him lose his fucking hand.
This plan of his sure does rely on a lot of contrivances. Also, why didn't Grievous just keep them at the... Also, why didn't Grievous just keep them in the ray shields forever? The droids show up before R2 can disable them, so why don't they just kill R2 and just keep them in the ray shields forever?
The reason Grievous doesn't leave them in the ray shields is because Grievous wants to personally gloat and execute them himself. This is why we see him collect their lightsabers. It's a fine addition to his collection of other Jedi he has successfully killed in the past. So very clearly, using the context clues, Grievous obviously wants to personally kill Anakin and Obi-Wan himself at this point in the film.
And again, why don't they all just execute them by blasters while they have them trapped?
Because Grievous wants to gloat and kill them himself.
Also, Palpatine is lucky he was able to survive that elevator incident, or this real... Also, Palpatine is lucky he was able to survive that elevator incident, or really this entire rescue mission without exposing himself. Especially with the elevator, he easily almost died there, and Anakin and Obi-Wan just luckily used their lasso ropes and fling themselves out of the elevator shafts because the floor they landed on just luckily had its door open for them to fall into.
Oh my goodness, Grant, you're a genius. You're brilliant. You just exposed that in action movies, the characters are brought to risky situations where if anything was slightly different, they could have died. Whoa. With this logic, the Uncharted franchise conceptually is fucked. What kind of criticism is this? Guys, it's lucky that Emperor Palpatine didn't fucking die in a dangerous situation. No fucking shit, Sherlock. What kind of point is that? It's also lucky that not every single buddy in D-Day got shot down. Like, what the fuck, dude? The plan he made obviously would have risks to it, like the fact that they are in a war zone and that his life could be taken at any moment. That's the point of any high-risk plan that could give you high reward. If the plan succeeds, he gets a new powerful apprentice to take over the galaxy with, but if it fails, he might die. This is how plans have been done throughout all of history. Like, what are you gonna tell me now? If a plan isn't 100%, you shouldn't do it. Is that what you're gonna fucking tell me, Mr. Shitstain Paulson Grant? Fuck you.
Also, when Grievous escapes everyone and everything in that bridge room, somehow isn't immediately suffocated and somehow have the strength to withstand the vacuum of space.
There's a little something we call that, Grant. It's a really, really, really special something we call that. We call that appeal to reality. Oval head.
Also, with half that ship broken in half and plummeting towards Coruscant with no engine to slow it down, there's no way they are putting out that fire and safely landing the ship without killing everyone on board, as well as numerous civilians.
I'm just baffled. I don't even know how to respond to that. What? Okay, let me start with, firstly, putting out the fire was shown in the scene itself. There's a bunch of these Coruscant ships that shoot water that take out the fire as the ship was landing near the planet. They show this in the movie, Grant. And two, they make it very clear that they can't land properly, but they still have enough control over the ship to do a crash landing with it. Something that you can do with real-life planes.
In fact, it's kind of coming down like a big fucking asteroid. It's pretty lucky that the entire city and part of the planet wasn't destroyed. Seems like Palpatine didn't think this plan through very well.
This looks like Grant Paulson is failing to grasp the simple concept of a plan not going as planned. Obviously, Palpatine didn't expect the invisible hand to break in two and for Anakin to have to control a crash landing onto the planet and hopefully survive that. Obviously, that was not a part of the plan. That was a blind spot of the plan that he didn't think through. What in the world kind of point is this? I don't think Sidious is like, I think a perfect part of this plan is after Count Dooku dies, Anakin needs to crash land a giant fucking war frigate and hopefully I don't die. I don't think that's part of the plan, Grant.
Because it relies on all of these contrivances in order for it to work. So Palpatine sends numerous hologram messages and talks to people as Sidious through hologram communication. So Palpatine sends numerous hologram messages and talks to people as Sidious through hologram communication throughout this entire trilogy, and there's something that is established later on that completely breaks and shatters this fact. And it's really stupid that they did this because it literally breaks everything in terms of Palpatine keeping his secret. So, keep that in mind. I'm not done with it yet.
Fuck you!
Also, Palpatine doesn't order Grievous to move the Separatist leaders to Mustafar. He just suggests it, and Grievous just accepts this idea and says it'll be done without even thinking about it. As a war general, I'm pretty surprised he didn't recommend doing something smarter. I'm pretty surprised he didn't recommend doing something smarter. I'm pretty surprised he didn't recommend doing something smarter, like spreading them out all over the place instead of grouping them all on one planet, where they could all be potentially killed off if the enemy discovered their location.
This one is very simple. Firstly, suggestion or not, if Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord that Grievous refers to him as, tells you to do something, you're gonna fucking do it. He's higher in command, and he's more powerful than you. Why would you not do this suggestion of his? And secondly, I don't even think he cares that much. He has no real emotional value in keeping these people alive anyways. He's only doing it to respect the higher command.
This exchange is infamous at this point. Everyone knows how awkward this exchange is and how weird the acting and dialogue from Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman. Everyone knows how awkward this exchange is and how weird the acting and dialogue is from Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman. I feel like Anakin just has these nightmares about his loved ones whenever the plot needs him to, so they can manufacture artificial drama to make Anakin conflicted about what he should do.
With this logic, you can literally say it's artificial drama that Luke has to go to Cloud City and Empire because of a vision that he saw of his friends being in danger. Man, isn't it so convenient he got those visions so that the drama could happen and he would have to fight Darth Vader? It's a stupid fucking argument. Firstly, Force visions are supposed to just come up randomly. There's no rhyme or reason that you could write in at all. It's just a power that these characters have. So how in the world are you supposed to use it without some form of quote-unquote artificial drama being a criticism you can throw at it? Anytime a Jedi senses something that is bad, has a bad feeling about anything, has a vision of a nightmare that could happen to a friend or family, and they're worried about it, or a vision of them thinking something is good that puts them in a false sense of security and gets them in a worse situation, any of those, you could just go and say, man, isn't it convenient that happened? Now there's artificial drama, because if that didn't happen, the drama wouldn't be there. It's just a stupid argument, and it can be applied to almost any form of fiction ever. Man, isn't it really unlucky that Joel found the hunters so that he would meet these new characters with Ellie and continue his character arc? That's so artificial. What if the hunters weren't there when Joel was driving the truck? It's fucking dumb. Sometimes shit happens to further the story. Just like in the real world, shit just happens.
And then the film completely character assassinates Yoda with one of the worst scenes in the trilogy. He literally just tells Anakin not to care about those he cares about.
Ah, yes, it is character assassination for Yoda. Yoda, of all people, to tell you to set aside your emotions and to not care about the people that you have an emotional attachment to. Oh, yeah, totally. Let's just forget that in the OT, he was advocating for Luke to stay in Dagobah and let his friends suffer and fucking die for the greater good. Let's ignore that he lied to Luke so he could accidentally kill his father so that he could save the galaxy. Yoda has been like this ever since the OT, dog. How in the fuck is this character assassination? Shit stain you are, Grant Paulson.
Throughout the whole series, the Jedi just keep giving him non-responses whenever he has any emotional problems, instead of actually helping him and listening to him, which is part of what causes his fall to the dark side, because they stupidly think that doing the opposite will prevent him from going down the dark path.
Wait, so your criticism of the prequels is that the Jedi are emotionally distant, and that inadvertently causes Darth Vader to happen. And that's a bad thing because it's stupid to be emotionally distant. Grant, do you like proofread these fucking reviews? Do you ever like think about what you're saying before you fully formulate the thought? No fucking shit. That is the point of the story, is that the Jedi do not emotionally confide in Anakin's problems because they think emotion leads to the dark side, when emotion is far more complex than that. That is the whole message of the story. How did you fucking miss that?
But nothing in this trilogy or this series supports that idea, so the Jedi just come off as huge idiots, and this entire scene and ideology comes off as extremely contrived. It's not shown.
Hang on. Are you fucking serious? So their ideology is contrived. It is contrived for a faction and or a group in a story to have an ideology that causes conflict in the story. That's essentially what you just said there, Grant. You are a villain against basic writing. You are a monster against formulating the concept of drama in fiction. You are the enemy to art itself, dog. How can you sit here and fucking criticize? Guys, it's contrived that the Jedi have an ideology that causes Anakin to have to deal with hardship and drama. Are you fucking kidding me? You haven't explained how the ideology is something impossible for a group to have. You haven't explained why the ideology is somehow not built up in the trilogy when it is. You haven't explained anything. You just went, the ideology exists and it causes drama, so it's contrived that there's an ideology in the story. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Touch some grass, Grant!
Developed or fleshed out as to why the Jedi think this way and why they think it works.
Yoda literally explains this in The Phantom Menace. The reason they think attachment is bad for a Jedi is because attachment can lead to fear of loss, and fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering, aka becoming more susceptible to the dark side.
I actually think Anakin is more of a whiny... I actually think Anakin is more whiny of a character in this film than he is in the rest of the trilogy. He's become the youngest member to ever be put on the council. This is a huge honor, but he's still bitching because they haven't technically made him a master yet. That makes it really hard to sympathize with Anakin, and I think that is necessary given that this film is about his fall to the dark side.
So your reason for finding it hard to sympathize with his struggles with loss, his wife and kids possibly dying in a Force vision, you think the reason it's hard to sympathize with him is because he has an ego and he can get arrogant and he thinks he deserves things he doesn't deserve yet? Are you fucking stupid? Just because characters have character flaws doesn't mean you can't sympathize with their struggles, especially if their struggles can be relatable and or understandable, like losing someone you love, for example. That's just a stupid criticism altogether, Grant. Go touch some grass, oval head.
Also, I feel like since Obi-Wan is apparently a really good friend with Anakin, I think maybe he should have asked Mace why they didn't.
Maybe, Grant porn star. The reason why Obi-Wan wouldn't ask that kind of question is A, because he also agrees with it, and B, because he understands why the reason they don't give him the rank of master is. He's not old enough. This is the youngest person to ever be a part of the council. That's already an honor enough. And Anakin's clearly being selfish about it, which is why he gives Anakin a head shake of disapproval when he complains about not being a master in the council. Did you watch the movie, Grant?
The Jedi all splitting off feels very contrived by the writing, especially given that as far as they know right now, they only have to kill Grievous to end the war. So if they kill Grievous, then Kashyyyk will be theirs.
My mind is blown, Grant. My mind is absolutely decimated, homestander. How can you fucking tell me that, guys, if Grievous dies, that means somehow the Wookiees would be automatically saved in Kashyyyk even without any of the Republic helping them, including the Jedi? What kind of argument is that? No, just because Grievous dies doesn't mean the enemy separatists on the other planets will automatically just give up all of a sudden. What it means is that Grievous can't make any more meaningful strategies/plans of attack for further operations and invasions that the separatists would want to have, because they wouldn't have a military general. That doesn't mean that the separatists would just stop fighting to take over what bits of land they can take. There's no guarantee of that. This is just common sense. Guys, if I defeated fucking Hitler, that means the Nazis all the way in Russia and in Berlin would just stop shooting at the Russians. No, dumbass, that's not how it works.
And out of all the Jedi they choose to send away for and out of all the Jedi they choose to send away from and out of all the Jedi they choose to send away, the two who are most important to be away from Anakin in order for his downfall to work.
That's not true even in the fucking slightest, Grant. Even if both Yoda and Obi-Wan didn't have anything to do and were not sent away from the Jedi Council and or Coruscant, they wouldn't be able to save Anakin from his downfall anyways. Firstly, we already saw a scene where Anakin tries to console his feelings and worries to Yoda, and Yoda essentially told him to ignore his feelings and to not really care that much and rejoice that his wife is dying, essentially. How is Yoda gonna be able to prevent Anakin from becoming Darth Vader? And Obi-Wan's even worse. Shown in Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan has shown to Anakin that he is distrustful, way too strict, and way too abiding to the Jedi Code, which is not helpful for Anakin because Anakin's struggle is attachment, which means that Anakin would have next to no reason to trust Obi-Wan with this situation anyways and would still fall to the dark side. Plus the fact that he still somewhat blames Obi-Wan for the death of his mother, I don't know how Obi-Wan would ever be able to save him from this fate. The reason why both these characters left is to explain how they were able to survive Order 66. So you didn't even get the right quote-unquote contrivance anyways.
And having Anakin stay on Coruscant to spy on Palpatine instead of going with Obi-Wan to kill Grievous doesn't work. Doesn't work because of that. Doesn't work because of that thing I said that's established later on I wasn't done with yet. So keep that in mind.
You know what you should keep in mind, Grant? What you should keep in mind is the fact that the very moment I find your address, I'm going to put your head in a wood chipper. You better keep that in mind. I'm not done with it yet. Grant Homestander Paulson.
First off, why would you be surveying Republic systems? I think it would make more sense that Grievous is hiding on a separatist system.
What the fuck are you talking about, Grant? He's in Utapau, a planet 100% completely controlled by the Separatists.
Also, is Utapau part of the Republic?
No, Grant. Utapau is not a part of the Republic. That's why we see droids there.
If so, how were the clone intelligent units able to find Grievous and not the Jedi?
Okay, if I think the argument you're making is the one that I think you're making, the reason the clone intelligent units were able to detect that Grievous was on Utapau, but Obi-Wan wasn't, is because they thought Obi-Wan was dead. And if you're not making that argument, I have no idea what this point is.
Also, Palpatine giving them this information to them when they weren't able to find anything somehow isn't suspicious at all to the Jedi.
Why would it be suspicious that Palpatine's spies would inform him of shit that Palpatine wants his spies to inform him on? Why would the Jedi ever think that is suspicious? Obviously, the Chancellor is gonna have his own personal investigators and spies to figure out where the war criminal Grievous is.
Okay, then don't put them together. This is the same problem with Episode 2 with the Jedi sending Anakin to protect Padme. They can literally just send Anakin with Obi-Wan to kill Grievous again, because of the thing that I'll talk about later once it's established in the story.
The reason they don't send Anakin and Obi-Wan together to kill Grievous is because Anakin is the only Jedi that they have that can get anywhere close to the Chancellor, and is the only one that the Chancellor trusts at all. They need someone to spy on Palpatine, and Anakin is the only one who could even somewhat successfully do this.
What? Is this seriously the first time Yoda or any of the Jedi have ever considered this as a possibility, and they've never looked into this thought before? Wow.
You're not elaborating on what you're even talking about. I am so confused right now, Mr. Shitstain Paulson. If you're talking about why didn't Yoda or the other Jedi consider that Palpatine could be problematic or a Sith Lord or a traitor or whatever, as far as I can tell, they didn't really have a reason to think this. In episode 2, most of his tracks are covered, and the only thing we see him doing is showing concern for Padme and getting emergency powers. I don't know why that would make them suspicious that he's some kind of bad guy. The reason why they're starting to grow suspicions now is because of the political actions he's constantly taking throughout the war. This has been established, Grant. Are you listening? Are you watching the movie? Or are you pretending to be Southpaw/EFAP to think that you're a better critic than you are? Shit stain, Paulson!
Palpatine is being very suspicious and ominous here by telling Anakin the story about Plagueis and telling him that he thinks the Sith and the Jedi are similar in almost every way, and none of this tips Anakin off or raises any suspicion at all, especially when they are currently looking for an unknown Sith Lord at this time who they think has secretly orchestrated this entire war. Anakin is an idiot, and this problem gets worse as the film goes on.
Okay, let's make this very clear. Palpatine is the Chancellor of the Republic, a well-educated, knowledgeable politician that knows about how the Galactic Republic has worked for years upon years of its existence. That would include history, and if there's something you want to know about history, one of the most important things is how the Force was implemented in galactic history, from both the Jedi and the Sith perspectives. The dark side has existed for thousands upon thousands of years, and there's even been ancient Jedi archives that have existed long before Palpatine was even born. It is not that unlikely or unreasonable that a well-educated politician post the events of the Phantom Menace, where Sith Lords are now a public thing again, would look into what the dark side is and learn a few Sith tales. Learning Sith tales doesn't mean you're a Sith Lord. There's probably tons of Jedi even that know about old Sith folklore. And even ignoring all of that, Anakin Skywalker sees Palpatine as a father figure, which means for years and years on end, Palpatine has done nothing but earn Anakin's loyalty and trust ever since he was a child. Why would Anakin ever jump to the conclusion he's a Sith Lord because of one suspicious Sith tale and knowing a few things about the dark side that any politician could look up at this point? That's ridiculous. Hey Grant, do you assume your father's a child murderer? Do you assume your father is a criminal? Do you assume your father is a terrorist? No. And even if there were some signs that he was, you're probably more likely than not going to ignore it because of the love and connection you have with that person. That is the same thing with Anakin here.
What? So you're telling me that Grievous didn't imprison and kidnap all the leaders of Utapau that might be able to reach out to the Republic as soon as he took over the planet?
Grant, are you slow? If Grievous killed or captured the main leaders of the entire fucking planet of Utapau, he would be caught by the Republic almost instantly. Grievous's whole goal in being in Utapau in the first place is to stay inconspicuous. It's not inconspicuous to capture the leader of an entire fucking planet!
Also, if Utapau...
Utapau! The planet is called Utapau! Grant!
Isn't a Republic planet and is just a fake thing that Palpatine made up.
What are you talking about? Palpatine made up a planet? What?
Wouldn't the Council ask to see this message? Because I think it would definitely raise an eyebrow if the Separatist planet is asking the Republic to help them.
Grant, if there is a planet that the Separatists have complete control over, and that planet is asking the Republic for help, the logical deduction to that is that that planet got controlled by the Separatists through fear, power, and their planet flat out being invaded. And if that's how their planet is invaded, why would they not ask the Republic to help free them?
And if they are part of the Republic, then why didn't Grievous imprison all of the leaders and chairmen once he takes control of the planet?
Why didn't your parents imprison you under their basement so they can slowly wait for you to fucking starve to death, you shit-stained piece of shit? Fuck you, Grant Paulson. Why didn't SK find your address and imprison you in his attic to slowly torture you to death? Why didn't I find you so I could imprison you for sheer incompetence and disingenuousness to the greatest Star Wars thing ever invented, aka Revenge of the Sith? The only thing that should be imprisoned, logically, factually, observably, objectively, is you. So you can suffer! Grant shit-stained Homelander Paulson!
Okay, but what if it's not, and you actually find Grievous there? His capture will end the war. Everyone should be there as backup in case he is there.
A lot of the Jedi are spread out thin because they still have a war to fucking win, Grant. And even then, the reason why they don't bombard the planet full of a lot of Jedi is because that would tip off Grievous to run away even quicker.
And killing him would render sending Yoda to Kashyyyk's... What? Kashyyyk... Fuck that word. And killing him would render sending Yoda to Kashyyyk... And killing him would render sending Yoda to Kashyyyk moot, because this would end the war as far as the Jedi know at this point.
Yes, but capturing and or killing Grievous doesn't mean the war ends instantaneously. Like I've described before, just because you kill the absolute leader of the faction doesn't mean the rest of the faction on other parts of the galaxy are gonna just stop their attack, especially when there's not gonna be an order to stop their attack for a long while anyways. Plus, they don't know for sure where Grievous even is, or if he's even at Utapau, or even if the assassination / capture of Grievous would be successful anyways. So why would they put all their eggs on that one basket when Grievous has always had a reputation of surviving, when you could spread your Jedi out to make sure even if Grievous isn't exactly captured, he's not gonna get a foothold and win the war anyways.
And even then, they could send the battalion of clones without Yoda, and he can go as part of the backup to kill Grievous in case they need to find him there, which Obi-Wan does.
The reason they send only Obi-Wan and not a ton of other Jedi, like Yoda or so, is very simple. The more Jedi you send, the more attention you'll bring to yourself, which will mean that Grievous has more of a chance of running away and escaping. Also, they just suspect that Grievous is on Utapau. It's not confirmed, so why waste time sending a bunch of Jedi to a faraway place in the galaxy when there's a war still taking place?
It's told to us by the Utapau leaders that these droids are watching them to make sure they don't spill the beans to Obi-Wan. But that's stupid, because there would be no way for them to tell if he did or not from that distance. How did they not see Obi-Wan secretly leave his ship as R4 flew it away? And how would they know what the leader told Obi-Wan if they're that far away? These droids are really stupid. Why didn't Obi-Wan wait for the clones to arrive before he attacked Grievous?
Oh my god, Grant, the reason why is because Obi-Wan is supposed to be the fucking distraction so the clones can get the drop on him. You know, the thing you want Obi-Wan to do with Yoda against Sidious? Get the drop on him!
Why didn't the droids open fire with their blasters and execute Obi-Wan once they had him surrounded?
Because General Grievous literally tells them to stand down because he wants to personally kill Obi-Wan himself. Did you watch the movie?
Okay. Did you read it?
The droids and the Separatists are really dumb.
Your criticism for this fucking movie is really dumb.
Also, why didn't Obi-Wan just lunge forward and kill Grievous as he's taking ages to take off his cloak and unveil all those lightsabers? Obi-Wan is dumb.
If Obi-Wan were to cheat and unfairly attack Grievous before he's ready for a formal duel that Grievous accepted, then the other droids will actually surround and start shooting at him. Grant Paulson's criticism of this scene is really dumb.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. The Jedi's minds and judgment are just clouded by the Force/Palpatine selectively whenever the plot needs their minds to be clouded. They can't sense that Palpatine is the most powerful Sith. They can't sense that Palpatine is the most powerful Sith Lord ever, but Mace can sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
So it doesn't make sense that they can't immediately sense Palpatine as a Sith Lord because Mace Windu has a bad feeling that there's gonna be a plot to destroy the Jedi, even though this has been building up for years? What?
The dark side of the Force surrounds the Chancellor. Again, this goes into the issue of their minds being clouded selectively, because now they can sense this because the plot needs them to.
Or, stay with me, Grant, maybe the reason they're starting to sense the dark side more in Palpatine is because Palpatine is slowly but surely getting ready to reveal himself, you fucking—
God damn, you wanna know what's a scam? Your fucking education. Nigga, that's what the scam is.
The Jedi don't know about Order 66, but for some reason they don't wait until they have literally every Jedi at their side before they go to arrest Palpatine.
Why in the world would you give Palpatine any second of an opportunity to make another move after realizing that the Chancellor of the Republic is a Sith Lord? Why would you wait months, possibly, for all the Jedi around the fucking galaxy to finish up their battles in a war to arrest the Chancellor when he's a Sith Lord? How did you just say this and think it's a good criticism, Grant?
Also, why don't they arrest Palpatine at the Senate, or just in a public setting where they have multiple eyewitnesses that Palpatine wouldn't be able to use? Or just in a public setting where they have multiple witnesses, or just in a public setting where they have multiple eyewitnesses, then Palpatine won't be able to just use— Then Palpatine won't be able to use his Sith powers to stop them, because if he did, then he'd be exposed, and then they could present evidence that they have the Senate, which—
The reason why Mace and his crew of Jedi don't arrest Palpatine publicly is A, they don't have any hard, solid evidence that he is a criminal or has broken any laws. B, can't really prove he's a Sith Lord even. C, if he tried to arrest him publicly, the Jedi would look bad for arresting the Chancellor without any solid proof. And C, presenting evidence. Like I just said prior, they don't have any evidence. All that they have is that he admitted it to Anakin Skywalker.
And then they can present evidence that they have to the Senate, which we'll get to later. Also, the Jedi don't know at all about Order 66, so they have no reason to believe that this wouldn't be the smarter option. So they have no reason to believe that this wouldn't be the obvious smarter option.
The smarter option would be to find your docs, Oval Head.
And Palpatine's entire plan relies on them being dumb and going with this stupid choice instead of the multiple other smarter options, because his plan hinges on them doing this so that he can use this as evidence against them in the Senate.
I wish I had evidence to your street address, Oval Head.
John Williams is a master, and this film might have his best score yet.
The only music I want to hear is your screams, Grant.
But I just don't think the relationship between Anakin and Palpatine is strong enough to make me believe that he would risk everything for him.
He raised him like a son ever since he lost his mother.
He knows that Palpatine is the strongest Sith Lord ever of all time, and as far as he knows, this is the only danger and the only threat to Padme, whom he loves very much.
What in the world gives you the impression that Anakin thinks he's the most strongest Sith Lord ever, first of all? And secondly, what gives you the fucking idea that he's a threat to Padme when Anakin has seen this person as his father figure ever since he was a small child? He's clearly conflicted.
So due to the weak relationship between him and Palpatine, I don't buy that he would make this huge decision based on extremely vague and weak information Palpatine gives him about knowing his power. Based on extremely vague and weak information Palpatine gives him about knowing about...
Spit it out, Grant!
About a power that can save Padme from dying. This needed to be much more solid along with the proof. This needed to be much more solid along with including proof in order for this to be believable to me.
Or just do what the film does and set up Anakin to be extremely emotional and desperate and not want to relive a trauma of losing someone that he loves, like the time his mother died.
Not to mention, Palpatine literally says, to cheat death is a power only one has achieved, but if we work together, I know we can discover the secret. Anakin at this moment should be like, wait a minute, you told me you knew about this power and that you could teach it to me if I joined you. As soon as he hears this, he should know that he was being He should know that he was tricked, and he shouldn't want to join Palpatine anymore. Anakin is an idiot.
The reason Anakin still joins is because Sidious says he may not know how to achieve the power yet. With our powers combined, it may be possible. He said something equivalent to that at least. And that is more than enough for Anakin to still go down this path because he is A, desperate, and B, he has no other options right now.
And Anakin literally just now joined the dark side. His turn is so rushed and quick, so him just being willing to kill all his friends in the Jedi, raid the Empire, and kill the children is not believable because this aspect was not fleshed out at all.
Anakin was established to be willing to kill children ever since Attack of the Clones. Anakin is clearly desperate, broken, and lost faith in the Republic and the Jedi, and has shown nothing but loyalties towards the Chancellor before even realizing he was a Sith Lord. And now, he feels like he has no other option to save his wife, and he is power-hungry and egotistical enough to think that he can save the galaxy by converting it into an empire, which was also built up in the earlier points of the movie.
Anakin doesn't have a built-up personal hatred for the Jedi that he's been holding in, that has been built up over the entire trilogy.
The Jedi and Obi-Wan's teachings is essentially the reason why the person he loves the most, his mother, is fucking dead. When is this review over? Oh my god, just fucking end!
He's just willing to completely change in a matter of hours.
End already!
This is some of the weakest character writing in the entire series.
Go outside already, Grant! You finished the review, it's over! Go get some fresh air!
It's almost as bad as the writing for Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones Season 8.
Get some fresh air! You fucking virgin! Make a point or leave!
Daenerys Targaryen. It's almost as bad as the writing for Daenerys Targaryen in Targaryen. It's almost as bad as the writing for Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones Season 8.
That just ate my soul alive. That ate my soul, shit it out, pissed on it, and put it back in my body. Holy fuck! That took forever!
and then there's Order 66. While this scene is sad and the music is fucking great, once again, the Jedi's ability to sense what is coming is extremely selective in this trilogy, and this time they just conveniently aren't able to sense that the clones are about to slaughter them.
Man, maybe, Grant, the reason why they're not sensing the clones is because they're not paying attention to their senses right now, because, I don't know. They're fighting in a fucking war!
Also, it's never alluded to in this trilogy that the Kamina people are separatists, so the Jedi murder chip that's placed in the heads of the clones doesn't make sense in the context of this trilogy. Because why would a system that keeps to themselves and is neutral as far as we know, agree to program their clones to massacre the people who have been the guardians of peace and justice for over 1,000 generations at the order of one man?
Attack of the Clones establishes that the clones are conditioned to be loyal to the Republic no matter what. Chancellor Palpatine is the Chancellor of the Republic, which means that essentially he is the mouthpiece of the Republic. So, yes, essentially what just happened is that the Republic told the clones to kill the Jedi, clones that were conditioned to do nothing but serve and listen to the Republic.
Yoda is able to sense this coming, but the other Jedi aren't?
It's almost like Yoda is the most powerful Jedi ever!
Also, why do the clones walk up close to him so he can chop off their heads when they literally have ranged weapons?
I don't know, Grant. Why don't you come closer to me so I can chop your head off?
Also, why do they hesitate a little bit?
They don't?
Obviously, not all of the Jedi would have been able to escape this situation, but some of them definitely would have if they sensed this beforehand.
And some of them did. Did you not watch the movie?
Okay. Did you read it?
I apologize.
Also, why do the clones let Bail Organa go when he literally witnessed them executing a child Jedi?
Because that would be a crime, Grant. He has a seat in the Senate. Killing a senator for essentially no reason would be completely illegal, and the clones do not have any grounds to do so. The clones were ordered to kill the Jedi, not the fucking senators. Grinding porn addict.
They should be worried as fuck about him reporting them to the Senate.
Palpatine already addressed this in the Senate. Watch the movie, Virgin Homestander Palsen!
They should be chasing him down relentlessly to kill him before he can spread the information. Plus, this allows him to rescue Obi-Wan and Yoda, which in turn allows the entire third act to even occur.
You are so fucking fat, Grant. The reason why they don't chase and kill him is because they have no reason to or legal obligation to. You piece of shit!
In fact, if you think about it...
The only thing I'm thinking about, Grant, is if you had the same ending as Homelander did in the Boys season finale. That's all I'm thinking about. I hope you beg, Grant. I hope you fucking beg!
The entire existence of the rebellion that we currently have in the OT hinges on this fucking contrivance, lol.
It's a contrivance. It's a contrivance. That your mother didn't just go, gulp?
The scam was that your mom didn't go gulp.
When Bail Organa receives a request from the Chancellor's office to attend a special session of Congress, this exchange happens. Could be a trap. No, I don't think so. The Chancellor will not be able to control the thousands of star systems without keeping the Senate intact. Keep this in mind. We aren't done with it yet. I find it weird that the Senate is just so easily swayed and manipulated. They all come off as huge idiots when they're applauding Palpatine's suggestion to reorganize the Republic into the First Galactic Empire, even though he doesn't have anywhere close to enough evidence to prove what he's saying is true.
Very simply, arguing that Palpatine doesn't have enough evidence to prove that the Jedi attacked him is just arguing under bad faith. Admittedly, the scene skips over what evidence he does and or does not show besides that his face was massacred, but that doesn't mean he lacks all other evidence. It just means that we moved past that scene in the story because it's not that important. If you use the novelization, it is actually explained that it was recorded when Mace Windu attacked him.
And throughout this whole trilogy, we're shown nothing but the system and the people within it being idiots, and that it's completely non-functional. So as a result, I can't sympathize or care about their system. Being turned into the Empire.
Bro literally said, because of a few writing errors, I can't feel bad for thousands, if not trillions, upon billions and billions and trillions of people being controlled by Space Hitler. I don't know what to say to that. You're a fucking cornball, Grant.
Okay, now we've made it to the scene that breaks the entire movie as well as the entire trilogy, really. So it's revealed that they have security recordings of Anakin executing Jedi and Palpatine revealing himself as the Sith Lord. And yet Obi-Wan and Yoda don't show this to Padme and take it to the Senate, which is currently in session, by the way. Based on what we know and what the characters know, there's no reason for us or them to believe that this wouldn't work. Also, why not steal all the damning security footage you could find, then broadcast it live to the entire galaxy?
The Senate already knows that Palpatine's killing the Jedi! That's the point of the meeting! Also, in that recording, there is no proof that Palpatine's a Sith Lord. He never says he's a Sith Lord, or that Lord Vader is a Sith Lord. At most, you caught him calling Anakin Lord, which doesn't really mean anything.
Also, as we learned in episode 1, any senator can call for a vote of no confidence if they wanted to. So why doesn't Padme or Bail Organa do that before presenting the evidence they found?
Because not enough people in the Senate want to fucking call a vote for no confidence, so it would only be literally 2 people, and it would fail immediately.
This would all be great reasoning to vote him out of office. Also, how did no one ever stumble upon these recordings of Palpatine in the past? These recordings come from cameras in the temple, the Senate, and Palpatine's fucking office.
No, the only recordings that Obi-Wan caught were all in the temple. What are you talking about?
He's made messages as Sidious numerous times in the series, but he's never been caught on camera until now?
Yeah, it's almost like Sidious always recorded himself in secret until all the Jedi were killed.
Does Palpatine know about these cameras? If he didn't, then as a senator, I think he definitely should have. And if he did, then why the fuck didn't he get rid of those cameras in his office? Or just find a blind spot for all of his Sith activities?
Your fucking education, nigga, that's what the scam is.
Also, with the establishment that they have security cameras in Palpatine's office, this means that the Jedi had a means of spying on him. So like I hinted at earlier, this means that they could have just sent Anakin with Obi-Wan to kill Grievous.
This is the biggest problem with this review. Grant, you seem to keep repeating the same arguments you've already made before. You've already made the suggestion to not have Anakin watch and have someone else watch. Adding the fact that they can see him through security cameras doesn't make the argument better or worse at all. It makes it equivalently the same. The Jedi wouldn't want to rely purely on security cameras because of the simple fact that Palpatine could just account for it by, I don't know, Grant, leaving the fucking room. Having Anakin be the spy is their best option. Anakin is the only Jedi that can get close to Palpatine and is the only Jedi that Palpatine trusts, which means he could slip up and give him information that is private.
That way they know Anakin is safe and secure with his master. Palpatine won't be able to manipulate him, because as May said earlier, it's very dangerous putting them together. And then they would have had greater chances of killing Grievous, end the war, and they can still spy on Palpatine through security cameras.
I refer back to my previous point. Shit stain, Paulson.
Also, no one in the Senate apparently ever begs the question of what motivation the Jedi could have. Also, no one in the Senate apparently ever begs the question of what motivation the Jedi... Also, no one in the Senate apparently ever begs the question of what motivation would the Jedi have to take over?
Where does it say in the movie that no one in the Senate begs the question why the Jedi would have taken over? That's not in the movie, Grant.
Especially now that the war is over. This entire scene breaks the entire fucking film and maybe even the whole trilogy.
Goodbye, sir. I will not even dignify that argument with a response.
Also, why wouldn't the Senate want him to give up his emergency powers now that the war is over? I feel like Palpatine would have to make a pretty strong case for them in order to keep it. And I feel like not giving it back would be going against the very foundation and ideology of what made this. And I feel like not giving it back would be going against the very foundation and ideology of what the Senate believes in. So why would they agree with this Empire idea, or even want to keep him in office? Remember, the Chancellor will not be able to control the thousands of star systems without keeping the Senate intact. So this doesn't work either.
The reason everyone in the Senate mostly agreed to have an empire be controlled by Palpatine is because, as the Supreme Chancellor with emergency powers, he has proven to be trusted and to keep the Republic safe from a damaging war. Yes, the war may be over, but now the Republic is scared because their greatest defenders, besides the clone army, the Jedi, have betrayed them, which means that they can't trust anyone but the Chancellor now in their minds.
Also, this is more of an issue with Episode 2, but there's a lot of suspicion, or at least there should be, surrounding the creation of the clones, and the Jedi just don't look further into it at all.
Two things. Number one, how in the world are they supposed to look further into it? Where are they supposed to look and what are they supposed to find? And two, they may not be able to trust the clones 100%, but the clones is the only army they have, and they're in the middle of a war, so there's not really that many options anyways.
The Jedi are an organization of monks that have been the guardians of peace and justice for over 1,000 generations. And Palpatine is shouting about creating a galactic empire, and yet he says the Jedi are the ones who are trying to take over, as he is literally shouting about taking over everything, and the Senate applaud them because they're stupid.
The scam was...
And he literally executed all the Jedi, including the children, without any trial to prove that's what he's saying is true. without any trial to prove that what he's saying is true, when the whole point of episode 1 is that the Senate is tangled in endless debates.
What the fuck are we talking about? Fire!
This entire thing should be going to trial, and Obi-Wan and Yoda have all the evidence stacked against Palps that they need to get rid of him. That being the security footage that proves he's a Sith Lord.
Oh my god! Stop repeating the same points, Grant! Just end the review!
But the Senate for no reason just take his word for it.
Move on!
This entire rise to power literally relies on everyone being a fucking moron.
Move on!
Why don't Obi-Wan and Yoda team up? Oh shit. Why don't Obi-Wan and Yoda team up to go kill Palpatine? You'd be a lot more likely to succeed if you were both working together. They should both go to kill Palpatine and then go and find slash kill Anakin. Every character is fucking stupid.
Hello, one and all. Today we're going to be playing my favorite game called Count the Reasons. Today I'm going to be counting the very good reasons why Yoda would not bring Obi-Wan along to fight Emperor Palpatine, the most powerful Sith Lord of all time. Our first contestant is the Counselor Jedi that tried to fight him earlier in the same fucking movie. Let's count the reasons, shall we? 1 reason. 2 reasons. 3 reasons. Up next, we're going to be seeing his catalog getting jumped by more than one Force user in the TCW show. 4 reasons. And a whopping 5 reasons already. Can we go further? I think we could. Look at that. Our next contestant, Anakin Skywalker, making this a good old whopping 6 reasons to not jump Palpatine with weaker Jedi. Can we go further? I think we can. Up next is The Force Unleashed. Let's see if Jedi after the Jedi Purge could jump Sidious. Nope, looking like Coda giving us good old 7 reasons why Obi-Wan shouldn't fight this guy. But maybe someone more powerful could give him a problem. Let's see what happens if Merrick from the game chooses the bad ending and tries to fight Darth Sidious. Nope, looks like we have 8 whole reasons. And that is just visual media that I chose to present this argument today. Fuck you, Grant Paulson.
This is kind of a nitpick, but I find it pretty convenient that Anakin couldn't sense Obi-Wan on Mustafar when he was hiding on Padme's ship.
He was focused on his wife, Grant.
I'm not sure if I buy that Anakin would conclude that Padme conspired against him to bring Obi-Wan there to kill him, rather than he snuck onto the ship before it left. He apparently loves her so much that he went to Palpatine's side, but he's willing to potentially choke the life out of her. Again, this could work if Anakin being this far gone was actually believable and built up naturally in the writing.
The reason Anakin concluded this is because Anakin is growing paranoia, which has been built up ever since the beginning of the fucking movie, Grant.
They feel like Yoda and Palpatine could and probably should be using more Force powers to their advantage in this fight, rather than using their lightsabers. This is more of a subjective thing, But I feel like them fighting without lightsabers and just using their amazing force powers would have been really cool.
Fuck you, Grant Paulson, and fuck your opinions.
There just so happens to be platforms for Obi-Wan and Anakin to jump on during their fight after they've jumped from the ropes they're swinging on.
Wait a second, Grant. Are you telling me environmental things have a part to play in an epic fight scene in an action movie? No fucking way!
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. In a certain context, I think this line could work really well. I just don't think Anakin's relationship and hatred with the Jedi is fleshed out enough.
In my point of view, your opinions are evil.
I'm not sure how Padme would have died here, because it's not the childbirth that killed her. It was losing the will to live. I don't think that's how it works, LOL.
Did you look it up?
Did you read it?
At the end of Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight, when he loses, why didn't Anakin just jump to an area further from... Why didn't Anakin just jump to an area further away from Obi-Wan so he can continue the fight?
Anakin's arrogance got the better of him. He literally says it in the movie. You underestimate my power. Like it's in the movie, Grant. Did you watch this movie with your eyes closed and your ears plugged in? Holy mother of fuck. How did you miss the fact that the main villain, Anakin Skywalker, is arrogant? When will this review end? Oh my god!
And I guess I'm fine with Anakin surviving his injuries because he's the chosen one, but I don't know. But I don't know.
Fucking end already!
It still seems kind of flimsy to me. And the whole reason Anakin became Darth Vader is because of his fear of Padme dying, and the Emperor didn't fulfill his promise to teach Anakin how to save her from death. So why the fuck is he still working with the Emperor? I feel like this earth-shattering reveal that the Emperor's throws at Anakin about killing Padme in his anger should send him into completely insane mode. I feel like he would go on a rampage trying to kill the Emperor and then potentially take his own life because he has nothing left to live for in his eyes.
Oh my god! Grant, if he has nothing else to live for, why in the world would he not at least try to rule the galaxy when he's established to be power hungry? Grant Shitstain Paulson!
My goodness, Anakin's character is so poorly written in this film.
Fucking end already!
Wait,
No! Just end the fucking review!
so they've already began the construction of the Death Star? Is this scene a time jump? If not, then how the fuck were they able to start construction on this thing without the Jedi or the Senate knowing about this? I get sending Luke and Leia their separate ways, but I don't buy Obi-Wan and Yoda going into hiding right now, because once again, they have all this evidence to expose the Emperor at their disposal, and again, from their perspective, they should think that this would work. And as far as the audience knows, we're given no reason to believe it wouldn't work either. They should be doing everything in their power to expose this guy, but they just don't for some reason.
Working off a broken, faulty premise, because I've already explained why the videos wouldn't expose Palpatine. He doesn't prove he's a Sith Lord in the videotapes at all, and all that the videotapes show is proof of something that he already told the Senate he was gonna do. Kill the Jedi.
Holy shit. My brain fucking hurts.
Mine too, Grant Paulson. Mine too. And I fucking hate you for it.
Revenge of the Sith 2005 fucking sucks.
Your review was fucking atrocious!
How the fuck are there so many people who unironically think this is some misunderstood masterpiece, as well as the best Star Wars movie?
The reason people think it's the best Star Wars movie or a masterpiece is because this movie is one of the most emotional movies in the franchise and has some of the most exciting scenes / action scenes seen in Star Wars, especially up to that point. It's not really hard to understand this, Grant. I don't think this is the best Star Wars movie ever made or the best written, but your reasons for saying why it's badly written is some of the worst shit I've ever heard in my life, and I've heard a lot of stuff with my years of living. So fuck you for this, Grant.
This feels like Spider-Man 2 2004 all over again.
Yes, it does, Grant. Because just like that movie, most of the criticisms are bad faith and fucking brain dead, and the movie overall still holds up to this day.
Yep, it sucks. Yep, it sucks. And I don't see any way that can be refuted as of now.
Holy crap, we're finally fucking done! Oh my god! That was awful. Oh my god, bro. I think the lesson that needs to be learned here is to never come into a movie wanting it to be bad or looking for reasons for it to be bad, and to not embellish criticisms that you may or may not have of the movie in the first place. The biggest problem with this review is Grant was clearly watching this movie trying to find criticisms to it, trying to find plot holes and inconsistencies, instead of sitting down, watching the movie, and trying to see the good and the bad. There was no measured way of watching this movie for him, and you can tell because he A, repeats a lot of points, B, makes up a bunch of points no matter how minor and small and acts like they're bigger problems than they actually are, and embellishes criticisms by adding more and more and more to a thing he already criticized. Oh, why did the Jedi send Anakin to watch Palpatine? Oh, why didn't they use the camera? See, they shouldn't have sent Anakin. Oh, look at this. See, they shouldn't have sent Anakin. When it's like, yes, I get it. They shouldn't have sent Anakin. You said that 3 different times. You're not making the movie worse. You're just adding reasons for one particular criticism, even if accurate. This has been the problem with film media literacy for the longest time during this era. This was the era that Spider-Man 2 was considered bad, and this was the era where people went after things like BTAS for some reason. The problem with these kind of critics is that these critics are here to have a reputation by shitting on beloved properties, by trying to look at them as uncharitable and unfavorable as possible without the ounce of good faith that you should give to any piece of art form. With that being said, that's all I have to say for this review. This was a horrible review that was easily one of the most dated things I've seen talking about this movie in this community, but luckily Grant finally learned and grew to appreciate the good that can come out of this movie. Do I think this movie's perfect? No. Do I think this movie's a masterpiece? No. Do I think you can criticize this movie? Easily. Definitely so. But I don't want to hear criticism from people that are not looking to find the quality or find the point or the purpose of the product itself. We are here to discuss art. We are not here to discuss a machine. And that's how reviews should be addressed from now on. We should come into it looking for good as much as we're looking for bad. We should be looking for good faith constantly, and we should be giving things the benefit of the doubt because these are people that are creating art for our entertainment. With that being said, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Fuck you, Grant Paulson. Here's a montage of the funniest parts of our debate. Goodbye.
I think he would have, in that situation that they were in right there, he would have run away, even if he was like, you know, not tired.
Tomato. The fact is, he got tired when Yoda.
That's not tomato.
Yes, it is, and I'm explaining why. Hang on. So once again, if Sidious shoots his lightning at Obi-Wan, he should drop his lightsaber then.
So if Sidious is shooting both of them, he would have to have one hand on Yoda and one hand on Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan, huh?
One hand's enough. Obi-Wan's dead.
I don't have enough to... Dude. Porgy. You can't fucking... Dude. we don't see this in the movie, so you don't.
Why are you talking to me? I didn't say anything. I was just laughing at a fucking funny image of Yoda.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at me.
We literally have precedent for him killing Kit Fisto,
Well,
who is around
and
the same
so-
level as Obi-Wan.
So first off,
Palpatine being a
wait,
close
what?
Luke, that should be enough evidence of.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah. Kit Fisto
can
is
you-
like.
comic book
Yeah.
legends.
Yeah.
Would you? Okay, so when you play these videos on streams, I can't hear any talking.
Wait, you could turn down the stream.
Mute the stream.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I forgot I could do that.
Do you really think they're gonna take weak Jedi to fight Darth Sidious?
I think they would have to.
No, but like unironically, I know this is I know this is external, but I don't care. Like, some of Kit Fisto's fucking feast, he's an absolute fucking mother of a beast.
Right?
But it doesn't matter.
I don't care about external
Okay.
stuff. It only increases your odds if you have 2 Jedi Masters there, and then just 1.
No, as
even
much as you think.
even if I'm not talking about the amount, I'm just saying it only increases your odds.
Yoda cares about Obi-Wan.
I know, but this whole galaxy's at stake.
That doesn't mean you would want to kill your someone you care about.
He wouldn't want to, but in order to save the galaxy, you might have to.
He doesn't believe he has to.
Which I would say that is not very wise.
If he
It
gets
only-
killed at the beginning of the fight, it's not
only-
going to increase his
it-
chance
no,
of
no,
winning.
No. Yeah, it only does. It literally
Not if he gets killed at the very
Because-
beginning of the fight.
because it doesn't lessen your chance of not including him.
Will die before the fight starts. That's how fast he'll fight.
No, you don't know that.
I do, and I can literally show you
Christ.
that.
Dude, I don't fucking care about this scene. This scene
He
doesn't.
took out 4 Obi-Wans essentially.
You, dude, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that.
Oh.
Tell me.
Yes,
Counter-
Wait,
that's
are
because
we still- are we
he
still on
says that. No, hold on. No, he says that because he says no. Shut up. Hold on. It's not just in terms of like, him being there in the fight. It's like strategy. Because if in my like, well, first off, if they were smart, Obi-Wan and Yoda, they wouldn't have their formation be the way it was in this scene.
What would you do? Try and sneak?
Because they were,
Yes, because sneaking up on the guy
were
that can
up
sense you.
because they were up, like, you know, in the front where Palpatine could just like, you know, kill them right there.
It doesn't matter where it are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Strategy matters a lot.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter where they enter.
No, he's wrong. Strategy is irrelevant if you're that fucking good.
No, it is not.
Well, Grant, here's the thing. You can be as good as a strategist as you want. If I can throw a planet at you, you're not
Dude.
beating me. Fight.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Tell me what strategy you would do to beat me
Dude.
when I'm throwing the moon at you.
So when you first off, when you say this, all I think of is Thanos. so basically,
Exactly.
Hold up.
so
Yes.
so the fact that you have like that level of power doesn't mean you're like unbeatable if you have someone just like
Okay.
get strategy.
So what strategy would you come up with?
Yeah. What strategy would you come up with to defeat me throwing a fucking moon at you?
Or
I
just,
don't-
just in general.
I don't-
Let's
You
actually
make
go with the
him
very
throw a
specific
pole.
scenario. Let's go with this very specific scenario. What strategy could have Obi-Wan and Yoda come up with?
Yeah, just tell me. What could they do?
Well, I would probably need like even more time to think about that. Weird that you like have it on this job because I'm looking at it. And that other guy, that other guy, he's just standing there.
It's fucking paused.
If so,
Wow, that's a fat ass.